Hi, and welcome to an episode of Utah Crossbow Hunter, where today we're going to be doing, I'm going to show you refletching on my Piledriver arrows. So I'm going to be showing that step by step on how I do it. It may not be the way you do it or somebody else. The only videos that I have found for fletchings have been on compound bows, which have the longer knock on the end. So I'm going to show you what I do here to help out. But before we get started, remember, you can look me up on youtube.com/user/10robro, on rumble.com. You can find me by going to the top there and hitting the video box, the drop down box, hit channel, type in Utah Crossbow Hunter, all one word. You can also send me an email at Utah Crossbow Hunter at iCloud.com for any future episodes you'd like to see me do. And always, thank you for watching my videos. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on both. Thumbs up. Don't forget that thumbs up. While we're waiting here, why don't you go ahead and hit that right now. Go ahead and do that. And on Rumble, hit that plus sign. So without any further ado, let's get started with today's show. Okay, so what we're going to be using here, let me bring up my other camera here. Okay, I'm going to be using this BOHNING, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, BOHNING or something like that, fletching thing here. It's a jig. It's a, let's see here, oh, upside down. The BOHNING Pro Class Jig. It's just, you see up over here, in the little box, it's a straight. Okay, so when you buy a jig, you need to make sure you're buying the right jig. So they're straight, right helix, left helix on these jigs. So you got to watch which jig you get. Now, I did a lot of work here yesterday and on fletching some arrows yesterday. And yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. And you are too. No doubt about it, you're going to make mistakes. So, hopefully, I can give you a step-by-step on how I've done it and the things I've done to help me on fletching these jigs or fletching these arrows. Because in the beginning, it's not easy. As you go along, the more you do, the easier it gets. But this is going to be part one of two, because I'm going to be also changing the inserts on these jigs, on these arrows. Because these here are like a just 23 grain insert. So I bought some other inserts, but these inserts here were just a little bit too big. So I did some more research, and I thought I had the right jig, or the right insert, but it was the wrong one. Even a little bit too big. So I did some more research, I made some more contacts, and hopefully the ones I ordered are the right ones, and I'll show you how I do those. Those are going to be 120 grain inserts that I'm getting. So I have a heavier front end, because right now it's, if you look at it here, it's way back here. So I want to move it up. My front of center FOC, I want to move it up a little bit more. So that'll make me a heavier arrow and a heavier front of center. So my punching power, kinetic energy should be a lot higher. So we'll find out. I'm doing it's more or less experimentation, and I don't know how they're going to fly until I get out there. When, I don't know. So what do I have? I have these Boeing fletchings, 2-inch fletchings that I'm going to be putting on. They're blazer fletchings. So, grab the ones I'm going to use here. So I'm going to do one arrow today, and I'll show you, hopefully, step by step on how I do those. But I got to buy also some more fletchings because I did make a lot of mistakes while I was doing it. So what do you need? You need sandpaper. I just use a fine sandpaper. You can get a some sort of knife, sharp knife. I have this one here to tear off the old fletchings. But you can get a fletching tool that helps take them off too. But if you got something like this, this will work also. Glue. I'm using super glue. Super glue it's good. It works. I hope. But there is fletching glues out there, different kinds that you can use. So whatever you feel like using. This sets fast, so you kind of have to work a little bit fast, not too fast, but a little bit. Okay. Now, so let me go back to my stand here. As you can see, this is a 2-piece magnetic thing right over here, magnetic strip that goes onto here. Okay. I have put a mark right here. Let me see if I bring it in closer here. Right here. That is where I want my fletchings to be. Okay. Now, another thing I have found with these here, they're not set up really for these half moon knocks. So what did I do? I happen to have these type of knocks that I put on to help. Because what happens is when you insert it here, right into here, if I can get a good shot here, right into here, let's see, can I get a better shot of that? Let me try this camera here. Okay, so you see how it is in there? Okay, that's more or less set up for a compound bow with the deeper set knocks. Okay, so again, I happen to have these, and they happen to fit into my my Piledriver arrows. So without any further ado, let's get started. Let me set this camera down, bring this camera down so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my old fletching. Let me get this out of the way. Now, I wouldn't recommend pulling it to you, but you try and carve it out. And I do have a hard time doing this, but I do it very slowly as I'm coming in because it is a sharp edge. So I work very slowly, and you should work slow anyways. There's no need to hurry. The first fletching comes off. The second one's coming off. And now the third one. Okay, so now you'll see here I still have some stuff on there. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is just scrape that off. Okay, very slowly. Work slow. I'm sure there's an easier way of doing this. But then after I get it off, I'm just going to scrape a little bit here. Make sure I get all my plastic off. Then we'll go to the next one. Again, get that remainder off of there. And just scrape off the old. You can see the remainder there. Comes right off. I'm just going to run my finger over this a little bit to see if there's any more. And then I'll go to my third one here. Now I haven't used the fletching removal tool. So I don't know if it makes it easier to do this. I can't say it can and won't. But my little knife here works just fine for that. Now I'll set that off to the side, get my junk out of the way, grab my sandpaper, and just kind of run it around here. And I rotate my shaft as I'm going. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe that off, and I'm going to get, and these work great, the things you use to clean off your iPads, your pads, your TVs, or whatever. These little alcohol, I guess they're called alcohol wraps. You just wipe that off. Get my work area clean here. Wipe that off. Really good. I'm going to run my fingers around and see if I got any raises or more stuff I need to take off here, because you want to make sure you're working with a clean surface. It's got to be a clean surface. Okay, so that's nice and clean. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of pliers here and pull out my knock. Okay, so I got my knock out. Set it aside. I'm going to put my new knock in. Okay. I'm going to grab my jig. And I'll take that knock right there and I'll insert it into here. Now, these jigs come with 2 of these. One says for 3, one says for 4. I don't think it makes any difference myself after doing a lot of these. But this is going to, when I put this in, this is going to be my white fletching that I put on. So I stick that in there. Now I'm going to grab my white fletching. Now I'm going to put it. Now the thing about putting it in, you make sure that the tip is facing forward. Okay? You put in your jig into your clamp here, and you can see that I'm going to line it up right there. Okay? And that's got a little groove. And here, that's where you're going to put your glue. And the next thing you're going to do is you make sure that your arrow is kind of tight in here. Put it on, test it, make sure everything is good. And it looks good here. Because you want to make sure that you're, from the tip of your here down to wherever you're going to have your fletching is even. Now, with crossbows, I am going to keep my fletchings the same distance from the tip of the arrow down to where the fletching ends. I'm going to keep it the same. Okay? I am not going to make any adjustments. Now, because after a while things can get a little expensive. So I'm keeping everything pretty much the same as possible on my fletchings. So I'm going to put that again back in. Okay. Now you can see these two pins right here. Okay. There is a, let's see, what's the markings here? A 2 degree left and a 2 degree right. And then the center is straight. Okay. So mine's straight. Now you can also buy these in 1, 2, 3, I think up to 4 degree helix. Now if you want to try that, that's up to you. Again, I'm going to keep mine straight. Maybe further down the road, I might try a 2 degree right or left, maybe. But that's way down the road for me right now. Okay, so I got this ready. Okay, where I want my tip of my arrow to be, the end of the fletching. Now, I'm going to take my super glue, and I hope I don't make a mess, because the first time I did it, I made a mess. Okay, so, again, very little. You just want to run a bead right down here, okay? And what I do is I start my bead just, just a little bit inside and end it just before the end, okay? That way the glue will spread out a little bit. So hopefully I don't make a mess here. So you can see where I'm starting, right about here. There it comes. Now I'm just going to run my bead straight down. Just give it a little bit of pressure on my... Now I'm going to stop. Like I said, stop just before the end there. This is the part where it can get a little tricky. Again, you got to work kind of fast but slow. Okay? So what I'm going to do here, I'll try and see if I can get it around here for you guys. When I put it on, again, make sure my arrow is tight down at the bottom. Put it back. Now I'm going to bring it down. And now I am just going to make sure my arrow is down. Just hold it just there for a few seconds. That's all you need to do. Now, take your clamp off. Puts it straight up. Rotate. And now you can put your second one on, which I'm using the green. Now, I got some glue down here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scrape just a little bit to get some of that glue off, because it will stick. And I found that to be a little bit of a pain. So I just scrape it here just a little bit. Take my wipe, clean it out. Sticking gone. my second one in. Same thing. Make sure it's lined up. Run my bead. Stop just before the end. Press. Just for a few seconds. Unclamp. Pull straight up. Good. Rotate. Get my next one here. Check it, make sure everything's good. Looks good. Uh-oh. Good. Run my bead. Now make sure I'm flush at the bottom there. And press. Alright, take it off. There we go. There are 3 new fletchings on there. Let me go over here to this one here. 3 new fletchings. As you can see, they're looking there pretty good. Now, I'm going to find my pliers. I'm going to pull this one out. And now I'm going to put my same knock back in. Making sure it's lined up the best that you can get it. Press it in. There you go. Your new handy dandy 2-inch fletchings on your Piledriver arrow. Okay? Then I'll just let this set for who knows how long I'll let it set. Because I can't get out and shoot right now. Okay, let me bring my camera back up here. Okay, so that's it. Now, again, I mean, you need to take your time when you're doing it. Don't be in any rush. Okay, so with that said, we'll come back with some final thoughts. Okay, so let me get rid of this camera here and come back to me. Okay, so final thoughts. The main thing to remember is make sure you have yourself a nice, sharp knife to work with. Some sort of glue, whether it's super glue or fletching glue, either one works. Sandpaper, fine grit sandpaper. And let's see here, pair of pliers. If you're pulling out the knock, replacing the knock. Okay. Now, these things here, this one here costs me about 30 bucks on Amazon. There's a lot of different types of fletching jigs out there, a ton. They got the tower, which is a little more expensive, about 50, 60 bucks. I mean, the tower would probably be better. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll break down and buy a tower. But for right now, this works really good. But again, like I says, if you get glue on these here, and you can get replacements for these here. If you get glue on there, just scrape it off. You know, and you're good to go. And make sure you wipe it down because you don't want any dust or stuff in there. Okay? So, again, make sure your wipes here. You can get any type of screen cleaning or alcohol base cleaner. That'll work. I just chose to use these because I have them laying around. I have a lot of these. But I got to get some more fletchings to finish up these Piledrivers. These ones are going to go on a different arrow, I think. I just haven't decided which ones. But I also got to get some 4-inch fletchings for my ballistics, and and then these knocks here, I played around with these little knocks on here. Oh, you can't see it on there, I'm sorry. But it's a little bit deeper. Let me see if I can bring it up here. It's a little bit deeper. You really can't see it on the camera here. These might work, but I know that this one here will not fit on these arrows. They're too small. So these ones here I might have to work a little bit slower, but that's fine. But anyways, I hope you got something out of it. But again, take your time. Don't be in a rush. Okay? Because I kind of got in a rush yesterday when I was working on some of these and I screwed up. Which I knew I was going to screw up some doing it for the first time. It was a gimme. But these ones here, I got these here at Sportsman's Warehouse here in town. They were, let's see, I think it's like $12. You can do 12 arrows with these, but it depends on the package that you get. You can find this stuff online. The problem with online, and like anywhere, is that they just send you one solid color. And of course, I want 2 colors. So you might have to buy 2 packages to make up your set of arrows. But like I said, later on, whenever I get my new inserts here, we'll be doing those. I'll show you how to take those out. There's a couple of ways of doing that, and so we'll be doing that to give these more of a front of center arrow. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we're almost even with these 2-inch fletchings on there. So I guess but when we put our let me see what I did with. Let me grab. So if you have 120 grain on here, so we're still don't have that much of a front of center that I like. So probably we're going to move up about 2 inches, my guess, maybe more, when we put in the new inserts. I'm hoping those are the right size inserts that we're getting. So, with that said, family first. Take care of your family. By all means, get out there and hunt. And again, thank you for watching Utah Crossbow Hunter.